Okay, we're here for lesson 25 and we're going to do 26 together with it just because 25 sort of introduces 26. So what we need to remember is in previous lessons we introduced two rules for solving equations. If you had the same number to both sides or the same quantity to both sides of an equation, nothing has changed. The answer is not changed. And if you multiply or divide everything in an equation, both sides, by the same quantity, again, the answer is not changed. Now, the reason these are starred or have low asterisks next to them is because we're going to look down here at this recall. The answers to an equation are roots or solutions. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Okay, now here's what we're talking about. We have 6x equals 12, and then you could probably just look at this and see that, oh, x is 2. But if we were to do this, the sort of long and drawn out process, what this says up above here is if we multiply or divide both sides by the same number, nothing will be changed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide essentially both sides of this equation by 6. And in doing so, the 6 comes over here, and I divide by 6. So 12 divided by 6. X is 2. Basically what we're doing is undoing this equation. This is multiplication, bring it to the other side, it's division. Same thing down here, something plus 4 equals 9, well, you could probably just look at it and say, oh, x has to be 5. And that's why we do the easy ones first, so that whenever we do the math and we already know what the answer is, and we can check ourselves real quick, so whenever we get into the complicated ones, we'll at least have an understanding of the process. Okay, so we have x plus 4 equals 9, plus 4, bring the 4 over here, the opposite of adding 4, subtracting 4. So x is equal to 9 minus 4, or 5. Okay, this basically is the introduction into 26, and we're going to go there right now. The only thing different between this and lesson 26 is that sometimes we'll have to use both of these processes to solve what are called two-step equations. So let's go ahead and jump into number 26. Here is 26. Now, the first thing we see up here is add, subtract, multiply, divide, parentheses, exponents. Now, this is the reverse order of operations. All this is fine except for this right here. We're still going to do parentheses and exponents first. We're just going to flip the order of adding and subtracting, multiplying and dividing to do the reverse order of operations. So we still have to do these simplifications first. Then we're going to add, subtract, multiply, and divide to solve equations in the reverse order of operations. Okay. So solve the following for x. We have 6x plus 2 equals 20. Now remember, there's no parentheses or no exponents, so we're going to go to the next step, which is add or subtract, because it's backwards now. So this 2 is being added, we bring it over here, we have to subtract it. The only thing that's left on this side when we take the 2 over here and do the opposite whenever I change sides is the 6x. 6x is equal to 20 minus 2, which is 18. I'm multiplying 6 by x, so bring the 6 over here and divide by 6, and I ran out of room, so I'll write the answer over here. X is 18 divided by 6, or 3. We have 8x plus 6 equals 70. Bring the 6 over here. I was adding, so now I'm going to subtract it. The only thing that's left over here is the 8x. This is gone, because now it's on this side. 70 minus 6 is 64. Divide by 8. X equals 64 divided by 8, or 8. Okay. Next one. We have 7x minus 14 equals 35. No, I'm subtracting 14 here. So this time I'm going to bring it over to the other side. Change sides, change the sign. So that means I have to add 14 on this side. 35 plus 14 is 49. Now I'm multiplying by 7. That means I have to come over here and divide by 7. X is 7. Last example. X divided by 8 minus 15 equals negative 12. Okay. Well, let's bring the negative 15 over here. Since it was minus 15, now it's plus 15. So we have x divided by 8 is equal to negative 12 plus 15, or 3. Now, we were dividing by 8, so that means we have to bring 8 over here and multiply by 8. And then x is 3 times 8, or 24. Okay. If you got lost on any of those, make sure you go back and rewatch that, because this is critical to basically the rest of the class. Now, this is a quick review on combining like terms. I'm just going to do 2 of these real fast and save the other 2 for you if you need them. But remember, whenever we have apples that look the same and oranges that look the same, put the apples together and the oranges together. So for instance, in this case, we have x's, and then we have just a regular number here. So we have 2x plus 3x plus 5x. That's 10x. 2 plus 3 is 5. 5 plus 5 is 10. And then just write the x, and then the 4 doesn't go with that, so just write down the 4. Let's try one that's maybe a little more complicated. Here we have y's and t's, and it looks like there's an x mixed in there too. So we're going to put the y's together, we're going to put the t's together, and then we have the x that's going to be just by himself. Okay, so 6y plus 2y is 8y. Plus 8 plus 3 plus 3, which is 14t. And then we have just the 3x at the end. So that's a quick review of simplification with like terms. Now, if we go to the back, we're going to use that concept to simplify equations that look like this. Well, I guess solve equations, really. We're going to simplify first, then solve. So notice how we have this 2x and this 3x over here. We need to put those together first. So 5x and then plus 4 equals 24. I didn't change anything except I put that and that into that 5x right there. Then I just recopied the 4, recopied the equals 24. Now this equation looks exactly like the stuff we were solving on the front. So take the 4, bring it over here, subtract it, and then 5x is equal to 24 minus 4, which is 20. And then I'm multiplying by 5 here, so bring the 5 over here, divide, and x is equal to 20 divided by 5, which is 4. Try one more example. I'll leave the last 2 for you. That's what we'll pick up class whenever we begin this lesson. 7y plus 3y. Notice the y's go together. This is 10y plus 13 equals 83. Subtract the 13 because it's the opposite of adding. Subtract. When you go across the equal sign, when you cross this imaginary line right here, change the sign. So 10y equals 83 minus 13, which is 70. And then a real easy divide by 10. 70 divided by 10, y equals 7. Like I said, I'll leave the last 2 for you to try on your own. We'll pick these up when we get back in the class. If you got lost anywhere, make sure you go back and rewatch those parts in the video that confused you. The biggest thing to remember here, whenever you cross the equal sign, make sure you change the sign, either from subtraction to addition, or addition to subtraction, or division to multiplication, multiplication to division. Okay?